Hi, Jim Brill here. I'm talking about the 2012 season in tennis and the 2012 Australian Open, the first Grand Slam of the year. In the first Grand Slam of the year, we're in the fourth round matches. Now, I'm going to tell you about the exciting things that are going on. Hopefully you guys will get excited and watch too. Right now we have Djokovic in the draw. Djokovic plays Hewitt in his next match. Djokovic's been dominant all year long last year, winning 3 of the 4 Grand Slams, only losing to Federer twice prior to the year-end championships. The year-end championships, it looked like he was just preparing for his next year, which is starting now in Australia, and he plays Lleyton Hewitt. Lleyton Hewitt has former number 1 in the world, 2001 U.S. Open champion, 2002 Wimbledon champion, winning both those years number 1 in the world, is now finding his form. He won 2 really tough matches, and he also defeated Roddick in a way, winning up 2-1. Roddick had to withdraw due to a hamstring injury, and he didn't want to hurt himself anymore, but he still considered that a win, and he could take confidence from that. So I still pick Djokovic to win, but it's a good thing for Hewitt that he's back up and playing and up and going, and hopefully remains injury-free. Then we have Gasquet playing Ferrer. Ferrer's number 5 in the world, and he beat Nadal last year. He was the number 1 player in the world at the Australian Open, after Nadal won 3 straight majors the year before that at the French Open, Wimbledon, and the U.S. Open. So Ferrer is a great player, a great Spaniard player, and he plays Richard Gasquet. Richard Gasquet is a French player who has beaten many top players, beaten Federer, beaten Djokovic, and so he has the game to beat top players. And so will he come into form and take out Ferrer? Who knows? That's a good match to watch, very good match to watch. Then we have Andy Murray. Andy Murray has made 3 Grand Slam finals, and he has not broken through. He's made twice in Australia, once at the U.S. Open, and all on hard courts, so he is a legitimate contender to break through in this tournament. And we'll see how he plays. He plays Kukishin in the next round. Kukishin took out Gael Monfils last round, and he was up 2-0. Gael Monfils came back and tied the match at 5, going to a 5th set. I thought Monfils was going to run away with the match, but Kukishin showed us that, hey, he doesn't get shaken under pressure, and he took it to Gael Monfils and won that 5th set. So then we have Nishikori. Nishikori plays Jo-Wilfried Tsonga. Nishikori is quietly advanced to the rankings, number 24 in the world, but we haven't heard much of him. He's been playing smaller tournaments, getting his ranking up there, and he's playing Jo-Wilfried Tsonga. Jo-Wilfried Tsonga, we know he took out Federer in the quarterfinals of Wimbledon last year after being 2-0 down. And so we know he also has made the Australian Open finals a few years ago, so he can play. He can play on a hard court surface and on a fast court surface as he did at Wimbledon. In the next match we have Philip Kohlschreiber, who plays Juan Martín del Potro. Juan Martín del Potro won 2009 U.S. Open. He took out Nadal and Federer. Nadal in straight sets, Federer 6-0 in the final to take the championship. Then a wrist injury all of 2010. He had surgery on his wrist, and then he played his way back in 2011, beginning of 2012. If he finds his game, he's right up there in the top spot in the world, top 3 in the world for sure. So if he can keep that momentum and keep going and gain confidence, he can be a huge force this year. He can definitely take Grand Slam titles. He's already shown us that. And then further in the draw is Bernard Tomic. Bernard Tomic plays Roger Federer. Well, Bernard Tomic is the next Australian Open up-and-comer, and he made the quarterfinals last year at the Australian Open, and now he is playing Federer this year. And Federer, we know, he has 16 Grand Slam championships, the best player of all time in most people's book. And Federer did not win a Grand Slam at all last year. That is the first year since his dominance began in 2003 that he did not win a Grand Slam. So we'll see how he bounces back. He had a great end of the year last year, and I think Federer this year had a focus, because in 2008, at the end of 2008, everybody was talking about retirement. He was like, no, I'm staying till the 2012 when the Olympics is being played in London. So he wants that Olympic gold medal. That's the only thing that he doesn't have in a singles game in his career as a tennis player. So he really wants it. So he's going to be focused this year, and he's not going to say it because actions speak louder than words, but he's focused in, and he's won all of his matches and handily convinced fashion, so I think that he's going to come through, and he's going to have to play Juan Martín del Potro. If he does, and that's going to be a real tough match. But moving on, we have Thomas Berdych. Berdych is a very sporadic player. He's made the finals of Wimbledon. He's beaten a lot of top players. Federer, he's beaten Nadal, he's beaten Djokovic, he's beaten every player, but he can't hold it together to win 7 matches in a row to take a Grand Slam, because he's so sporadic. Every day he steps on the court, it's a different Thomas Berdych. So if he can find peace within himself to win a string of matches and beat top players consistently, then we'll hear a lot from Berdych. But until that happens, I don't know. He plays Nicolas Almagro. Nicolas Almagro is more of a clay court player, and he's done really well at the French Open. He's done really well on the clay court. He's number 10 in the world. However, he beat Wawrinka in the last round, he beat Wawrinka in the last round. I would pick Wawrinka to win, because Wawrinka is a really good hardcore player, but Almagro took it to him, and so who knows what will happen. I mean, if he can beat Berdych, if Berdych is not on his game. So, and the next match is the Battle of the Spaniards. We have Lopez versus Nadal. Rafael Nadal is number 2 in the world, French Open champion last year, 6 out of 7 French Open last 6 out of 7 times he's played the French Open, he's won the French Open. So on those grounds, he's pretty much untouchable. But at the Australian Open, he finds a little bit of trouble. He's won it once in 2009, and he was taken out. And ever since he won the French Open this year, but he's been taken out by Djokovic in every other final that he played in. And so can he find his form, and can he shake that competitive edge against Djokovic? I think that he will win. He's playing well. I think he's going to win all the way up until he plays Federer. And that's an interesting story, because Federer and Nadal are on the same side of the draw. It's always been Djokovic and Federer on the same side of the draw. They've played 5 U.S. Open semifinals. Last 5 U.S. Open semifinals they played. And then last year, Australian Open and French Open, they played in the semifinals. So they always land each other on the same side of the draw. So we have a different picture here with Federer and Nadal on the same side of the draw, because that's always a great match and a great rivalry, as the last 7 years, have been the top 2 spots, flipping back and forth. On the women's side, we have Caroline Wozniacki. She's never won a Grand Slam. She's number 1 in the world, most consistent throughout all of last year. I mean, that's what number 1 in the world is all about. Played the most tournaments, won the most tournaments, but did not win Grand Slams. And she has not won a Grand Slam yet. She made the finals of the U.S. Open in 2010, but she has yet to really impose herself in a Grand Slam final. And she plays former number 1 Jelena Jankovic, who has been to the finals of the Australian Open, who's been to the finals of the U.S. Open. And she year-end number 1 in 2008. So she's an amazing player. She can find her game. That's going to be a great match to watch. So definitely tune in on that one. And then the key match on the 4th round of the women's side is Kim Clijsters versus Li Na. This is a rematch of last year's Australian Open final. And that was such an exciting match to watch. Li Na was up a set and a break against Kim Clijsters, and Kim Clijsters clawed her way back to win that 2nd set and then took the 3rd set, and it was just a great match to watch, and I'm so excited to watch that match in the 4th round, which is coming up, which is the last match, day session match on Rod Laver Arena, which is their stadium court. And then after that, we have Azarenka playing Benesova. Azarenka has been the favorite many times to win Grand Slams. Last year, a couple of Grand Slams, she was the favorite to win, but nerves get the best of her. Play is actually already underway, and